car, your toothbrush, all of your personal possessions, those are yours. You know, that's the goal of socialism and communism is to give the working class what they deserve from their labor. You know, the fruits of their labor. Right now, most of the fruits of their labor, or what we create, the value that we create with our labor, is giving to the capitalist owner class. And so historically, it's like 1930s fucking Italy, there were a lot of communists. You know, there was a lot of communist movements, a lot of organizations of workers, and so the capitalist class, instead of instead of willingly giving away their power or whatever, you know, they said, oh, if we give all of the government power to this one dictator person, Mussolini, then he, with his authoritarian police state, can beat up all these communists and beat up all these workers who aren't happy with their conditions. You know, and that's what they did. You know, and so you know, if fascism is less democracy, the capitalist class feels threatened. So they'd rather give control to a crazy dictator, to an autocrat, or one or a small group of people who tyrannically enforce a police state and violently suppress anti-workers movements and organizations. So the thing is, in America, we know this word fascism. A lot of everyday working class American citizens have heard this word. There's even I would say a large percentage of people who have even looked up this word or maybe searched on YouTube, what is fascism, right? But the Marxist analysis of fascism is the most educational and informative and real analysis of fascism that will really help you understand why fascism exists and help you understand and see when your society is headed towards fascism. And fascism can only be stopped by socialism. So it's, you know, I'm going to thank the person who ever sent that donation. I'm going to check it in 1 second, but I just want to finish this thought. You know, a lot of us Marxists understand that with the American empire in decline, we face a future of either fascism or socialism here. You know, if we, the workers, don't make our own organizations to combat the power of the capitalists and all the organizations they have among themselves to oppress us, they have complete control of the state, of the government. And the thing is, they will willingly give that power of the state to one person, whether it's Trump, a fucking new random guy that comes along, or some new fucking whatever party or person. They will give them the power over all the government instead of risking losing their capitalist class privilege over us and allowing us to have economic democracy, working class democracy, for the workers to actually have a voice in our democratic process. Hey, thank you, Joseph. God bless you, man. I really appreciate it. Joseph just sent $5. And he said, get something to eat, bro. I really appreciate you. God bless you. You know, there's a, you know, we officially the United States is considered a democratic republic. But what it is it's a bourgeois democracy. It is a capitalist democracy. If you think we're not a democracy, then why do rich people in Congress fight each other so much? Because they have democracy. It only exists for them. You know, they have a democracy in the United States, yes. It's a democracy between all the millionaires and billionaires who have a voice, but only they get to participate in it. And I don't give a fuck what we are, what the founding fathers said. Working class democracy is the future. The workers, and it's what we should all strive for. You know, I don't care what you think in your head. If you're out here trying to say that working class people having a voice in our government is wrong, then you're just a fucking bootlicker slave. You literally have the mentality of a slave. If you literally believe that giving democracy to all the working class people who exist in this state, the United States, instead of just letting all the rich people make all the decisions, then you've gone past the licking the boot. You're sucking on the boot. You're literally sucking on the boot. And it's disgusting. It's a fucking sick fucking image.
You're
It's a
sucking
fucking
everybody
picture in
dry.
your head.
Fuck
You're
yeah.
fucking disgusting at that point. But you know what? Maybe, I'm being too hard. We have to have compassion for people who are led astray, especially relative to their class position. I always try to make people understand the working class people are never our enemy unless they're violently reactionary. Even working class people who have expressed reactionary views, backwards, views, they can be educated. And what we are ultimately fighting for is the working class. So, unless someone's an actual multi-millionaire talking shit, or they're being violent, um, I'll call you a few names, but I apologize for the names, and I want you to educate yourself. Thank you so much. Somebody else just sent me $3 on Cash App. I really appreciate it. So I have $11 for food today. I'm still trying to make some more because it's very expensive to eat here. I might be able to get something small, but it won't fill me up with $11. Hey, God bless you, Joseph. I really appreciate you, and I respect you, and I really appreciate your $5 donation and the advice you've tried to give me today. But I told myself a while ago, if anybody wants to be a moderator, they have to send $100. And I know you're probably like, I don't want to be that bad. I was just trying to help you out. I understand that. I'm not saying that it's worth $100 or that you want to be a moderator that bad. I'm just saying, like, for me, it's, I never have a good experience with moderators. I never have a good experience when I have a moderator. It always, causes drama. So, I figured, for me to go through all that drama. I would have blocked you, like, oh, that's how you feel. Hey, God bless you, though, man. Thank you for helping me out. I appreciate it. You said I sound capitalist asking for $100. You don't even know what capitalism is, if that's what you're saying. Capital means you own the means of production and you employ people and take most of the value they create with their labor and give them a tiny percentage of what their labor created with your means of production. So let's say I own a truck and a bunch of tools. Since I own the means of production, I employ some other guy who doesn't have the truck and the tools work for me, and then I get $3,000 for the job that we did in 3 days, but I only pay him $300 because $100 a day, especially in North Carolina, might be good money, in the labor market, so that's what capitalism means. Okay, it doesn't mean charging $100 for an honorary title on a social media platform that grants you the ability to mute or block people. That's not what that means at all. Even selling something isn't necessarily a capitalist thing. If you own something and you sell it, that doesn't make you a capitalist. You're a capitalist when you're exploiting the labor of others. If I'm not employing anybody, I'm not a capitalist. I mean, there's other ways. But that's just a basic understanding that I can help you in your ignorance at this time. So am I a straight male? Yes, I am. Nice to meet you. No, I'm not part of the LGBTQ plus community, but I support them and their struggle against social oppression. You know, uh, can anybody please spare any money for food, please? So where am I at? What state? I'm in California. Can anybody please spare any money for food? So what's my take on the genocide in Gaza? I pray every day that the Israeli state ceases to exist, and that Netanyahu and Biden and all the people who had made those decisions are prosecuted by the International Criminal Court. But when I say I hope that Israel as a state ceases to exist, I don't mean that I wish for anything bad against civilians of the state of Israel. I think that a new state, Palestine, that guarantees the rights for all citizens, the end of the apartheid state. Like Rhodesia, that was an apartheid state. That's where we get the name from. It was called Rhodesia before, and it was like this all-white colony that had lived for hundreds of years in Africa, and black people didn't have the same rights, just like in America. And the America, I'm against I hope the United States as a state ceases to exist. But for Rhodesia, there was no purpose for that state, because you have to understand the nature of a state itself, of a state government, is to enforce the rule of the minority group of ruling class people, not minority as in racial, minority as in property and rights, and agency. There's the owner class and the exploited worker class, but within apartheid states, there's also classes of people even below the average worker who are considered below the average worker, and based on racism. And that's what's been going on in Palestine. And I'm disappointed in myself, because I think all of us American citizens have a responsibility to do everything we can, to educate everybody else, and to agitate and to organize to change our government system. And until we do that, and the more I don't do enough, the more things like this happen. And it just breaks my heart. I was thinking about it today. A few years ago, I fell in love with the hippie girl. And one of the things was at the time there was the election between Trump and Biden. All the liberals came out and suddenly cared about politics. You know, all the liberals started speaking about politics. So you had even these hippie spiritual people talking about, oh yeah, you know, the stars say that Trump is gonna lose the election, and that's what she was saying, right? And it's like, I try to educate her on communism, but she was never receptive to it, because most of these hippies are from privileged, you know, economically privileged families, you know, like she was. You know. To her, it's just about living your best life, the American dream, and you know that side of caring about, you know, politics, which even though in America we have the privilege sometimes to ignore it, you know, especially as white people or even white passing people, it still affects us, and whether you choose to ignore it or not, and be on your higher vibe, whatever, and it affects other people in other countries a lot more. And it's just, I was thinking today, you know, what I saw in that person was a reflection of me, not who she truly was. You know, because she doesn't give a fuck about Palestine. You know, she maybe would say she did if somebody asked her. But at the end of the day, what she and a lot of people like her believe in is just being happy for yourself. And if you just be happy and positive, that's going to change the world. If you're just happy, those vibrations are the best gifts you can give to the world. No, not ending the tyrannical empire state that you exist in, that's genociding around the world and has for decades been genociding all these different groups of people. Not standing up against that and trying to stop that as a member of that state that's doing no. You just gotta be happy and feel the good vibes. And you know, it breaks my heart because, you know, it's like, it's like, it breaks my heart when I try so hard to educate people on why all this stuff is important, and why literally the most important thing for us to do is to be educating, organizing, and agitating politically. You know, but it's like they don't feel, you know, I mean, some of them don't have this shit show up on their feeds because they literally do not give a fuck. But you know, I not only feel it, I see it. It's right in my face. Every day I go on Facebook, I'm seeing videos of Palestinian children fucking bloodied in their fucking heads, crying because their parents are dead. And these fucking most Americans, they think that they can't do anything about that. They think that has nothing to do with them, but it does. It has everything to do with every single one of us citizens of this American empire. The fact that we're sitting back and accepting this convenient, comfort lifestyle as an American in this American empire that managed to create a unipolar world for a few decades after the Soviet Union, and economically and militarily dominate almost all of the world to give you this level of comfort and convenience, so you can fucking ignore about the fact that that government power is fucking killing, you know, in your name. And I used to say it's our tax dollars that are funding this, but you know, I've recently, even though I hate to admit this because I like to think that I've always been so, you know, it's dialectically, you know, it's important for me to acknowledge growing and learning, you know, but at the same time, it makes me feel stupid not understanding this as much as I do now. The fact that countries that have currency sovereignty, like the United States, our taxes literally get burned or just deleted in the computer. Whenever you pay your taxes, that money does not go into no programs. It does not go to no war. It literally, they just delete whatever you pay, they just delete that number in the computer. And if you actually went and delivered cash to them, they would burn it. Our taxes actually do not pay for all the government policies. The government makes the policies first. The government makes the policies first and pays for them first, and then collects taxes and burns them. And, they spend a lot more than they get, obviously. But it doesn't matter because it's all fucking made up, and it doesn't matter how much that they can print. They can type in however much money they want and send it to whatever accounts they want. But what really matters is the real economy, how much labor power and how much resources are available. There is no limit on what our government can fund or do for us or for anybody else in the world or change about it. All that matters is, do you have the resources, do you have the factories, and do you have the workers? If you have that, all they got to do is push a button on a computer and it starts doing it. This is called modern monetary theory, and the word theory can make you think of, can be unjustifiable if you think about it in that sense, because it's not really a theory. It really actually explains how our modern monetary system works. Okay, and not every country has this power. A lot of countries don't have this this currency sovereignty, so they do have to use their taxes to fund their programs, right? And to pay off their loans. But countries like America, it's literally, we got unlimited money. It doesn't matter. They can type any fucking number and they want to and pay whoever the fuck they want to do whatever the fuck they want. It doesn't matter how much they collect in taxes. It literally all just gets burned or deleted in the computer. And it's like, so, for a while I was saying like, yo, our tax dollars are going to fund this. And indirectly, that still is a valid statement, because it is the taxes that give the currency the demand and the value. Okay, and without that taxation that creates the demand and the value for this currency, then they wouldn't be able to print out however much money they want to send to the Zionist entity to continue its genocide. Okay, so indirectly, in a more detailed and broken down understanding, the point still applies. Okay, but just in an explanation that tries to take into account, how we could change this and what we could turn it into, understanding that they can create however much money they want, and that our taxes are just literally deleted in the computer and don't pay for the things we need. It doesn't matter how little or how much we get in taxes. It doesn't matter if they tax the rich more. It might create a little bit more demand for the currency, but at the end of the day, it's the fact that they can literally pass any policy they want. It's like when they try to convince you, oh, who's gonna pay for the healthcare and all this? It's like literally nobody has to pay for it, and it sounds crazy. It sounds crazy. It's hard to wrap your head around. It's really hard to actually wrap your head around this. But actually, nobody has to pay for it. And it's so hard for us to fucking believe. I promise you. They literally just type in the computer. They literally just type, okay, $1 billion. Okay, I'm going to send $200 million to this hospital. Okay, boom. Now that hospital has $200 million to pay their employees and buy their fucking medical equipment. Boom. Done. And that's literally how it works. And if you still want to try to not believe this and claim it's false, it happens all the time with corporations, banks get bailed out. That's exactly what happens. It's socialism for the ruling class and capitalism for the poor, for the working class. The ruling classes, if it's too big to bail, the government will literally just type in the computer, okay, you have this much money now. And it happens all the time. You know, they're already giving capitalists billions of dollars out of thin air, but they will not use this power to help the working class. Hey, God bless you, Leah. God bless you, Leah. I just muted you because I don't think that's something you want to say. You know, you know my fucking trolls. They stalk anybody who likes me or supports me. They've already tried to stalk you before. You know, let's not tell on old pops. Let's leave old pops alone. Let's not put his business out there. Unless you think he's a fucking son of a bitch and you don't give a fuck about him, then sure, just comment that again and let me know that I won't mute it. Can anybody please spare any money for food, please? Can anybody please spare any money for food, please? I came up here just to beg for money for food. I gave you guys a fucking socio-economic lecture that, you know, that's very valuable, that you can learn a lot from, and you know, it's like, fuck, just send a few bucks. Shit. You know, that socio-economic lecture I just gave you guys was very valuable. Please, if you could spare any money. You say, can I give you some advice? In what? Do you have specific advice or just general advice? Hello, Sade. How you doing? God bless you. What do you want advice about? My advice to you is if you have some extra money that you don't need, just send me like $5. Fuck you. $10, $20 if you can afford it. That would be great. That's my fucking advice. Hello, the Warriors. How you doing? God bless you. You said specific advice. Well, okay, specific advice about what? Because my general advice is please send me money if you can afford it. You said she has 6 kids by multiple dudes. Well, the only issue with that I would see is economic. If she takes care of her kids, and you can't afford to be buying diapers, and, food for the kids all the time, and I'm not saying all women would do that, but that does seem to be a situation you would probably end up in especially if you guys, took your relationship more seriously, it went steady with each other. Then dating somebody, you're gonna be it's kind of expected a little bit. You're gonna help out with the kids a little bit, especially if like you get married. Well, then you're a stepdad, So unless you got a really good job or 2 or 3 jobs, That's the only thing I would think about that situation.